All right, Josh here again. It's about May 19th or May 20th, not quite sure. I wanted to show everybody an update of my garden because I'm pretty excited about how well it's doing this year. Was supposed to be my lettuce bed. It turned out to be my collard green bed. Collard greens I threw here last winter. And check out the size of these leaves. I'm pretty excited about these. I've been using them for salads and juices. Same things with these heads. Now, they're starting to bolt. They're getting a little bit tall. If you can see, the leaves are much smaller now as they get bigger. If we look back here, look at the size of this leaf in my hand. So they're definitely getting smaller, but there's still a lot of good food on here, and they'll still get a little bit more food production out of them. This was originally supposed to be my lettuce bed this year, but none of the seeds that I planted in here germinated. I've got some arugula back there, but I hate arugula. I've also got some stinging nettles. And I discovered that I like the initial taste of stinging nettles, but not the aftertaste. When there's my lonely thing of lettuce that survived the winter. And yeah, look at the size of these leaves. I'm so excited about these. So that's my collard green bed. And now I'll take you to show my carrot bed that also has not done so well, but I've got some giant mustards. Look at the size of this mustard leaf. It's probably 18 inches long. This is a variety called Red Giant, and it definitely lives true to its name. But again, I planted carrots in here the same time I planted my lettuce in the other bed, and as you can see, I've got some. Maybe you can't see that on camera yet. Some carrots coming up, but not many at all. So there's some Swiss chard that hopefully will take off eventually. Here's some other things. So I'd originally planted this bed in mid-fall last year and put about 140 plants in here of various types of kale and Swiss chard and mustard, and came out one day and slugs had eaten it to the ground because I didn't throw out slug bait. So it's very sad. And then so I got some short carrots that I thought would put in here. They're stubby carrots. They're called Paris Market. Here's some more carrots growing. So hopefully I'll get some carrots eventually this year out of this bed. Otherwise I think I'm going to have to replant it with some more carrots. But that's what this bed is growing on. Now if we look down the road here, you can see a bunch of green stuff in that bed. And you can see that I've also got this bed finished. So I've just put some lettuce in here, and I've got some plastic over it to keep it warm through the night. But I put some starts. I put about 100 starts in here, and then I put them 2 per square foot diagonal, and then in the other spot I put seeds. So in the other diagonals I put seeds, and not all of them germinated apparently, but a lot of them did, and I'll have to transplant them. So there's a little one there, a little guy there, and then you can see some other seeds in there. There's a bunch of red varieties down there. I've only got this bed about a third of the way filled out. It's 40 feet long. I'm going to be transplanting some stuff from my other beds into here. The other thing I'm working on is I cleared some trees right here so you can see my neighbor's yard. It used to be about that thick, and as you can see there's just a power pole and a few smaller trees, or a few bigger trees, that I need to use my backhoe to help me cut down because they're going to fall on that power line or they'll fall on top of here. So I need some big gun help. So this bed's also doing well. The seeds didn't come up as uniform as I wanted, and slugs actually got a lot of the spinach that was coming up. But as you can see, I still got, oh no, that's grass I think. Oh, that might be a spinach. And then might be some spinaches in here. But there's some lettuces, as you can see over there. Right around here, these are some Asian greens. This actually must be some Chinese cabbage. I tasted it to make sure it wasn't mustard. If it was mustard, I was going to pull it all up because I hate mustard. But this whole bed down there is growing pretty much like that. So when they get bigger, I'm going to thin them out, and I'm going to rearrange them so they're a little bit more uniform. Now this bed right here is my pride and joy. So this is some stuff that I started this year, probably in March or February. This is either Pentland Brig kale or wild garden kale. It's really good. It has a really, really mild flavor. You wouldn't even tell that it was kale. And the leaves are really thick. They're thick like spinach leaves. Actually, they're even thicker than these spinach leaves. Yeah, they're about the same thickness. But they're a little bit tougher than spinach. They're not as soft. But they have a really nice flavor. And so for this bed, I've got kale, some curled kale planted every square foot here. And then what I just did was I planted some spinach between it, because this kale is taking its time to grow. And I figured, why not utilize some space and get some spinach out of it, because the spinach will grow and bolt before it's even before the kale is still full grown. And so I'll have plenty of time here. Oh, and I'd like to show you what I did to keep my my plastic up. So I've got these PVC pipes, and then what I did is I took some 9-gauge wire and I drilled a hole in here, and then I bent it into a hook, and then I can just use it as a hold for my plastic to come up. So here is the other part of the bed. So the other part of the bed contains, oops, that's getting torn. The other part of the bed contains contains a bunch of Chinese cabbage. Let me see if I can get a good look at this here. So that's really thick Chinese cabbage. There are 2-3 types here. I don't know which types are which right now. They're kind of lost in here. And then I've got some more mustard and some other types of stuff right there. And then at the very end here, I got some turnips. These are Scarlet Queen turnips in there. And then at the very end here, I've got some purple kohlrabi growing. So I'm excited about that. I've been having some of the leaves, just not many, but some of them. And so this bed is so far my pride and joy. And I've got these beds that you've seen earlier, but they're growing much more larger right now. So this is some lettuce. This is the Waldman's dark green. It's not growing nearly as quickly as I would wanted it to. And there's some other lettuce that is growing even worse. And then here's some dino kale that is by far the worst. Oh, and I've got some spinach growing in between, very, very slowly. I think this is New Zealand spinach. I was very surprised that I forgot that I even put it in here, but it came up. And here's some more kohlrabi. This is some bok choy that I bought. As you can tell, I bought this from Starts, and it already is going to bolt. It's by far the worst of the stuff that I bought. I will not buy it again. Here's some dino kale that made it through the winter, which is very surprising. I'm glad that it's starting to come up again. Some other things that are growing very slowly, some cabbage or something like that. I forget what it is. It'll have to get bigger for me to identify it. Here's some bok choy that's also going to bolt, but I started this from seed. So I've got a couple types of bok choy. The white stem bok choy, here's a green stemmed bok choy, and then here's a red leafed bok choy. And here's a Savoy leafed bok choy with the green stem. Not many of those came up. I'm going to plant some more of them because I like the way they look, but they just didn't germinate very well. Here is another bed of mine that has some bok choy. Now this bok choy is, I think, by far growing the best and most uniform right now of all my bok choy. Again, it's a green stem, and look at the thickness of the stem on the bottom there. Pretty thick, if you can just make that out. And then here is some, what looks to be some more kale. What does this one say? My name tags wore out, so I can't really tell what they are. But this has got to be some triple curled dwarf or something like that kale. Now this bed I'm also very excited about. So this was some Red Russian that overwintered, and I transplanted it into here, and it's all going to seed. So I'm going to probably juice the stems and everything eventually. Here is some broccoli mixed in with a single dino kale. And these are planted, I think, 5 per square foot. So I'm going to transplant these over to the other large bed that I've got lettuce growing in. Here's some more Chinese cabbage. that's getting decimated by slugs, but the centers are still growing really nice and tight. And I planted them tight because they generally grow up in really tight columns. Oh, and here's some chives that overwintered and they're flowering now. These are nice because these taste sweet. They're the best tasting onions I've ever had, but I still don't like them. They leave an onion taste in your mouth forever. Here is Swiss chard. Some other beds. These aren't very interesting. These are going to be over with soon. They're all going to bolt really bad. Here's my cabbage bed. I'm also going to have to transplant some of these. These are planted 2 per square foot. And cabbage will grow really, really big. And so I'm going to have to transplant these out really soon. But they're doing pretty well, along with the single dinokale in the center there that overwintered. Here's some dock that is doing all right finally. Once it warmed up, it started to really pick up. And then my real pride and joy, my greenhouse. So if we come in here, it's probably about 10 degrees, maybe 15 degrees warmer in here. And my tomato plants are doing great. So when I planted them, they were maybe half this height right here. And I actually just had to prune this one back because it's getting sucker. So if you look at the size of the sucker that I pulled off of that. So these are what they look like now. Now these are a variety that I bought from the store, I believe. I don't quite. Oh, these are going to be Tumbling Tom Red, and the ones in back are a Sweet Cherry 100. So the ones in front, every other one here in front is going to be a determinate. So the Tumbling Tom Red, so there'll be 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then alternating, so this one is going to be Sweet Cherry 100, Sweet Cherry, and Sweet Cherry. Then we go back here, and now we've got some of the ones that I started from seed. So this is one that I started from seed. And this is a Russian variety. I don't remember exactly which one it is. I had such poor germination rates at first with these that, this is a Galena. So this is a cherry tomato. And these might be Galena or some other kind too. The thing that I'm really excited about is if you look, I've got some buds on them. And then I just planted some melons, and they look like they've already gone into shock, which sucks, but I just planted them 20 minutes ago. And here's the rest of my melons and my peppers. I've had some slug damage with peppers, but nothing that's really decimated them like what I've had happen before. And I've got some more peppers. They're really, really tiny right now that I'm going to use to fill out the rest of the bed. And I'm probably only going to try to put in peppers until, I don't know, maybe I'll do the whole bed. I haven't decided yet because I've got tons of tomatoes. And I don't know whether I'm going to try to grow them outside or grow all my tomatoes in here this year. But with this plastic, the plastic really helps keep things warm. And so I think that I can grow things outside also. Oh, and I forgot. I've got some basil in between here. And this is a variety called Holy Basil. I've never had it before. And some of them have been eaten by slugs, but not too many. And then I've got some purple basil growing here. So tomatoes apparently like to be grown with basil, or basil likes to grow with tomatoes. So I've done that. Some of my watermelons aren't doing so hot. They turned really yellow. I have no idea why. I think they got damaged by frost, even here. But they're still growing. So these leaves are still growing. And then some of them are doing much better than others. But I determined that melons are way, way more sensitive than peppers or tomatoes at this stuff. So there's the other melons that I have to transplant. So that's what my garden looks like so far. I'm very excited. I will have a bunch of stuff to harvest this year. So. Hey Isla, say bye. Isla, say bye bye. Bye bye.